Salut, c'est Nana, et aujourd'hui on se retrouve pour faire juste une partie de I Was a Teenage Exocolonist. On se retrouve pour un petit let's try sur un jeu narratif, ils appellent ça un RPG narratif. Je sais pas exactement ce que ça veut dire, donc je sais pas encore si c'est un jeu qui me hype ou pas, mais en tout cas il m'intrigue. Il est sorti le 25 août 2022 et il est sur Steam au prix de 23,99€ avec des évaluations extrêmement positive. Comme vous pouvez le voir, il n'y a pas le français, mais apparemment la manette fonctionne. Et donc, apparemment, c'est pas un. Enfin, il n'y a pas de multi parce que c'est pas un jeu qui s'y prête forcément. On est donc parti, on va voir ce que ça donne. New game, new game. Réveille-toi. Alors, comme The Fidelio Incident, comme c'est un jeu narratif, je vais pas tout traduire en réalité. Je... On va voir si c'est doublé ou pas, mais je pense que je lirai en anglais. Désolée pour les anglophobes encore une fois, mais quand c'est narratif, je trouve que ça dénature beaucoup trop le jeu parce que je galère à traduire de façon fluide, parce que forcément je découvre le jeu en même temps que vous. Donc Voilà. Juste pour prévenir, je vais juste traduire ça au cas où que le jeu traite des sujets matures et que c'est pas bon pour tous les joueurs. J'ai vu que dans le menu tout à l'heure, j'en ai pas parlé, mais il y a un menu en fait pour voir justement les différents trigger warnings qu'il y a dans le jeu. Donc voilà, c'est ce qu'ils disent. Please see our content warnings in the system menu for a detailed list of themes and events. Donc attention, apparemment il y a pas mal de sujets sensibles. You wake to chaos, a confusion of light and heat and smoke. Fire. Your head is pounding. You must have hit it and blacked out, but you aren't sure how you got here, or what on Vertumna is happening. There's something important you need to remember. Your stomach lurches as the floor crumbles beneath your feet, then collapses. Your body aches and your eyes burn from the smoke. A figure appears through the flames. It's your friend. Your friend? Wait, why can't you remember her name? She's gesturing and shouting at you, but all you hear is a ringing in your ears. Donc je lui demande what's going out. Soit je lui demande qu'est-ce qui se passe, soit je grimpe. En fait, il y a le feu, donc je vais pas poser de questions. You try to stand up, but one of your legs falls uselessly underneath you. It won't hold your weight. Your friend pulls you out of the rubble. She throws your arm over her shoulder and half drags you towards the door. Through it, you see a deep, eerie twilight, dark blue and cold against the heat of the fire around you. Glow season. Glowing eyes. You shake your head to clear your vision. Is that some kind of dog, like from Earth? The creature howls and lunges, its jaws open. Ça faisait une éternité que j'avais pas lu de l'anglais à voix haute. J'espère que mon accent est pas trop nul. Au pire, vous avez le texte sous les yeux si vous avez besoin. Je sais pas pourquoi j'ai pas de son. You are born on the stratospheric Earth's first colony ship, halfway through its 20-year voyage to a wormhole at the edge of the Sol system. Your parents run the hydroponic gardens, which make fresh air and vegetables for the ship. Like the other colonists, they bravely chose to make this one-way journey to the uncharted planet Vertumna 4 in the hope they could escape Earth's troubles. They had you the old-fashioned way, merging their genes like they merged their cultures and traditions. They name you... Alors, Pas Solanacea, non. Solane ou Solana? Solane? J'aime bien Solane. Ouh, mais je suis jolie! You're a bright-eyed child with an active imagination, sometimes too active, your mom says. Use the sliders to the left. Ok. Donc je vais choisir mon pronom. Alors, je l'ai jamais dit ici, mais je suis non-binaire, donc... Et je peux pas... Comment je change? Ah, comme ça. Donc je vais prendre they, them. In late teens. Donc androgyne, du coup, s'il vous plaît. Et ça, c'est grave cool. Ça, c'est vraiment, vraiment, vraiment un énorme point positif. Forcément. You have vivid dreams of things you've never experienced. Dirt under your feet, skies overhead, endless jungles and strange animals. You wonder if this is what Vatumna will be like. Donc, on peut voir en haut à gauche, il y a un bouton là qui emmène vers le menu, je suppose. Ça, c'est ma tronche. Ça, je sais pas ce que c'est. Peut-être ma vie ou mon expérience, je ne sais pas. Là, on a le menu. Ça, je sais pas. Des likes. Mon humeur. Mon énergie, sans doute. Et là, on voit que j'ai différents... Ça, c'est mes sentiments. Enfin, mes qualités, éventuellement. Ouais, tout ça, c'est des qualités un peu différentes. Every child on the stratospheric is given one genetic enhancement. By age 6, you see the first signs of your... Donc, soit j'ai des yeux d'aigle, soit j'ai des doigts en plus. Soit j'ai un cerveau... Alors, absorbent, je suppose que c'est qui absorbe plus de choses, j'en sais rien. Super force, un tempérament calme ou rien du tout. Alors, j'hésite entre... Alors ça m'intéresse pas, les doigts en plus. Eagle Eyes, pas trop non plus. J'hésite entre le cerveau, la force et le tempérament. Je vais prendre le cerveau, même si je suis pas sûre de ce que ça veut dire exactement. Professor Hall says... Kids learn fast because their brains are like sponges, but when people get older, they can't absorb as much new stuff. Not for you. You're always learning, and your curiosity knows no end. 1+1 skill on brain challenge win. Écoutez, d'accord. The other kids have trouble keeping up with you, but one tries. Energetic and loyal anemone. Tough and gentle Carl. Bold and confident Mars. Quiet and adventurous Dis. Studious and mature Tangent. Shy and sweet Tammy. Est-ce qu'on est en train de choisir notre meilleur ami? Alors, on a énergétique et loyal, fort et gentil, bold and confident, quiet and adventurous, studious and mature, shy and sweet. J'aime bien l'idée d'avoir quelqu'un de loyal avec moi. Je vais prendre Anémone. En plus, je sais pas si c'est ce personnage-là, mais j'aime bien ce personnage-là. Bold and confident, ça doit être lui. Ah, je peux voir. Ça, c'est 10. Donc, c'est quiet and adventurous. Pourquoi je peux pas toujours voir? Mars, bold and confident, ok. Cal, tough and gentle. Et lui? Ah bah voilà, c'est ça. Et ben, ce personnage-là, il me plaît grave, que ce soit les fringues, la tronche. Il a une bonne tronche. Ouais. Anemone is the most enthusiastic person you know. Your favorite memory is the time she taught you how to play zero-G sports ball after class. She never means to get you into trouble, but somehow you always seem to find it together. All strength cards under 2 become 2. Ok. Ah, et je peux voir les autres si je veux. Non, mais en vrai que je vais garder ça, vu que je sais pas exactement ce que ça veut dire. You're 10 years old when the ship finally reaches the wormhole. Professor Hal says it's like a doorway to other star systems, with the planet Vatumna 4 on the other side. You run emergency drills for months to prepare. When the day finally comes, it starts with a rumble, then things start to slide off the tables. You hurry to gather near the escape pods just in case. The emergency area is crowded with families. It's going to be fine, Solane. Your dad saw this. We'll be through the wormhole and down on the planet before you know it, just like we've practiced. Your mom gives him a sharp, worried look. Elle a trop la classe, notre mère. Red emergency light switch on a siren begins on as a siren begins to sound somewhere distant in the ship. You try to breathe slowly like you were taught, but you're very scared. You look out a porthole, the stars are gone. When you're frightened, you... Alors, put on a tough face, get in touch with your emotions, find a ditch. Donc je peux pas faire ça. Ça. Sometimes you pretend to be confident so the people around you will be less scared. You look over at your classmate Tang and realize she's doing the same thing. She gives you a hard smile. You return it and keep focusing on your breathing. You wait. The shaking builds. Then everything starts to get very weird. The hallway stretches, and you're stretching and you're stretching too. Your arms impossibly long. Your head feels like it's slowly filling up like a balloon and contracting down to the size of an atom at the same time. Is this the wormhole? You hear the distant, ominous squeal of metal giving way as the ship shudders and lurches in slow motion. The weirdest part is a sense of déjà vu. You're sure this has happened to you before, and you know, somehow, that everything is going to be okay. The shuddering reaches a crescendo. You hear an impossibly loud crunch and feel weightless for a few seconds before gravity slams your back against the wall head first. You black out. As you sleep unconscious, you feel yourself twisted out of time. It's today, yesterday, and tomorrow all at once. And more than just one tomorrow, lots of them. Different tomorrows. You find yourself in a place that you know from your dreams. Tilled fields, dramatic ridges, and a stranger, but also not a stranger, grinning as she grabs your hand. Hurry up, she says. I'm not going to let you miss this. Distantly, you can feel the ship's shaking has stopped and hear your parents' worried voices. Feeling safe, you slip further into the warm embrace of the stars. You drift. Gradually, your consciousness reforms. You wake up in the med bay. The med bed under you plays a soft tone as an automated voice speaks. 2 weeks have elapsed. The patient's cranial injury has completed healing. They may now be safely discharged. As the fog lifts from your head, you realize something seems different about this room. It's so bright. You try to focus on the window. Something is definitely different. Sunlight. Instead of the familiar blackness of space, bright light from twin blue and yellow suns is streaming through the windows. You peer out and see fields, glass-walled domes, and walls ringed by giant mushroom-like trees. There are construction materials everywhere and people walking around outside on the ground. You better get out there and join them. Alors, soit je me précipite dehors, soit J'y vais prudemment. Je me précipite dehors. Attendez, ça fait toute ma vie que je vis dans un vaisseau. Et voilà, on a donc le contrôle. Oh, Tammy jumps as you step out of the ship's quarters behind her. You're awake! Are you all better? You better go see your dad. She points southeast toward some geodesic domes. Qui c'est ça, non? Tammy looks concerned. You slept for so long after you bumped your head, she says. I bet your parents were worried. Your dad is working over in geoponics near those domes. They're called greenhouses. I would go with you, but well, this is as far as I've been from the ship since we landed, Tammy stammers, blushing. It's scary outside. Donc, engineering. A low throbbing noise comes from the engine room, which provides power to the colony. Other corridors lead off to the teaching labs and med bay. You know the route to your classroom well, but the rest of this wing is off limits to children. Congruence, the ship's onboard AI, beams down at you from a nearby holoscreen. Don't forget to study hard, Soleil. Okay. The garrison, a small team led by security chief Rhett, was enough to keep the peace on the stratospheric. To stay busy, they also ran the exercise gym and sports ball courts. Here on Vertumna, the garrison has expanded fast. They're building a huge wall around the colony and have an outdoor firing range and a big covered dojo. And best of all, a regulation-sized sports ball court. Ouais, effectivement, ils ont fait un mur autour de la colonie. Ok. Solane, your dad gives you a big warm hug. I'm so happy you're finally awake. Dr. Instance thought it'd be best to keep you asleep while your noggin healed. Your mother and I thought you might sleep away the whole year, my snoozy little gooseberry. He shakes your head and looks relieved. He was clearly very worried about you, but covers it with jokes and smiles. Oh, you love your dad. He's so embarrassing. Non, je l'aime, mon père. Welcome to Vertumna. Je crois que j'arriverai jamais à le dire ce nom par contre. Hein. He says, gesturing around you. You've never seen the stratospheric from the outside except in pictures. The ship has been separated in two, and parts taken off to form other buildings as a big wall around the colony. The alien jungle creeps right up to the wall. Only the geodesic greenhouses pass outside it, dotting their way up the hill. It's beautiful. How did you do this so fast? What's outside the walls? You've been asleep for weeks, my dear aubergine. He says, and these geodesic greenhouses practically put themselves up. But some of this is only a quick temporary solution, he admits. We'll keep going and improving things. One day, our little colony will be as big as a whole city. Oh, before I forget, he pulls a package out from his satchel and hands it to you. You blink and stare at it blankly. Don't you know what day it is? He asks. You honestly don't. Je vais y arriver. Je commence à fatiguer. You remind him that you've been asleep in midday. Happy birthday, he shouts, wrapping you in a warm hug. Your birthday? Already? You feel a dizzying sense of déjà vu. You stare hard at the wrapped package. You know exactly what is in there. You remember it. You dreamed about this package some years ago on the ship. Inside will be a small medallion in the shape of a sun that you had made by hand. Donc ça me donne +1 to challenges, +1 to challenges. You describe the medallion and your dad... C'est pas facile à dire. As he hands you the package. Oh, you ruined the surprise? Was it sick? Oh, who ruined the surprise? Was it sick? It'll be... I'll bet it was sick. They hate fun. He grins and adds, "Don't tell them I said that." You start to explain that nobody told you, but someone shouts your dad's name. "Listen, I'm sorry, Solane," he says, "but I have to get back to work. There was an accident when we landed and..." He stumps himself. "Don't worry, we're going to fix it, your mother and I. Professor Hal is expecting you in classes, if you're feeling up to it," your dad says, pointing west to the engineering wing in the rear end of the bisected ship. Then he points to the large doors you came out of earlier. Or you can relax in our quarters until you're feeling better. "We'll talk later tonight," he says, then kisses the top of your head and ruffles your hair. "Have a wonderful birthday, Solane. I love you." Donc j'ai débloqué l'étude de l'humanité et de l'ingénierie. Je vais boire un coup parce que là je commence à fatiguer. Donc il faut que je choisisse une activité pour le mois pour gagner du skill et avancer le temps. Il y a 13 mois dans un an et 10 ans avant la fin du jeu. On a le temps de se concentrer que sur certaines choses. Ici, c'est quoi? Geoponics. The greenhouses have different biomes inside, growing plants from earth that might belong in a desert, jungle, or temperate forest. Some are so delicate that you have to spray off any germs in an airlock before you can enter. The seasonal garden outside is dotted with blue nobodies, little flowers with what look like wriggling creatures stuck inside each one. A sign explains it's a decoy meant to attract some kind of flying predator to come pollinate the flower. Ok, en gros c'est des cerfs quoi. C'est petit en fait du coup, il n'y a pas grand chose. Command. Command is a warren of long hallways with doors off to tiny nondescript offices. Everyone you pass seems to be hurrying off to something important. The end of one hallway opens into the supply depot, which works as both requisitions office and general store. Beyond it are cavernous warehouses stacked high with supplies from Earth now being gradually unpacked and distributed. Colony food shortfall, moins 100%, low. Colony security ratings, evaluating. Upcoming event. We will be hosting our first annual Vertumnalia festival during the second month of Dust. Chief Administrator Seek. Notice, take precautions outside the colony boundaries. Xenofauna have been sighted in the area. Survey teams are investigating. Chief Surveyor Toning. Current Council and Administrators. Oui, on s'en fout, ça. Leave. Ok. Donc, soit je vais me reposer, soit je vais en classe. You see this sitting on the ground beside some bushes. Is he hiding from somebody? He seems to be watching the gate in the wall to the south, where grown-ups are coming and going. Kids aren't allowed past the walls, he says quietly, without looking up. They say there's nothing to be afraid of, but then why do we need walls? You stare at the gate and have a sudden rush of memory so strong that you think you might faint. You imagine something crashing through the wall, something enormous and dark and wriggly. For years in space, you've had half-remembered nightmares of monsters, of your ship being destroyed, of sifting through wreckage and that used to be your home, trying to find something. Your dad always told you the dreams weren't real. Breaking you from your daydream, Dice whispers, I think there are monsters out there. I believe you. No, you don't, he says. You're being sarcastic, I can tell. Nobody believes me. He turns his back and ignores you. They're huge and wriggly and dangerous. Stop making fun of me. dice pouts. You're as bad as Mars. Ok, mec. Ok. Et il parle de sortir, mais il n'y a pas de porte. Hein. Hiya, Solane. Anemone seems really at home here. She's rolling a sports ball around with her foot, making patterns in the weird blue snow. This stuff is different from snow on Earth, she tells you. 'Cause it isn't cold, but it's still neat, and you can make stuff out of it. Your foggy head clears a little. Anemone is simple, physical, real. You always feel grounded near her. Why aren't you in school? She smacks her forehead. School! I wondered where everybody was. I guess I'm gonna be late for humanities class. She doesn't look very worried to you. It's okay, she says. Professor Hall is chill. He won't mind. But we should probably go now. She grins and starts running towards engineering. Hey, race you! No fair, she's getting a head start. Elle court pas bien, hein. C'était ici, non? Donc, soit j'étudie les sciences de la vie, soit j'étudie l'humanité. Ça. Et donc, c'est pour le mois. Hein. Bienvenue, Solane. Welcome, Solane. Professor Hall greets you. I hope you're all warmed up and ready to study the glorious humanities. History, literature, language, media, and philosophy. And yes, if you're lucky, we'll have a little ancient earth poetry too. He seems excited about that last bit. By the way, if anyone is interested in taking engineering classes, please register through Congruence's scheduling system when you have a chance. She'll be helping me teach them. Today's assignment is an easy one, Hal says with a yawn. Because I was up late repairing Congruence's subterminal and I could use a nap. I'd like you to write an essay on what the Vertumna colony means to you. Alors, freedom, equality, democracy. My friends are all here. I feel safe here. Just doodle instead of writing. My friends are all here. You write about all your buds and the fun things you do together. When Hal wakes from his nap, he asks a few students to read their essays to the class. Mars is annoyed that you hardly mentioned her. Well, you aren't really friends, so... Okay. When you work or go to class, you'll play a quick card challenge as the month passes. Move cards to fill the 5 panes and make the best hand you can. Yes, order matters. If your total in the circle on the right reaches the goal value, you win. Depending on your cards, some challenges can't be won, but you still get a reward for doing your best. Okay. Bonus for pairs, same number together. Ok. Qu'on mette les mêmes nombres au même endroit, d'accord. Bonus for straights, increasing from left to right. The more cards in a flush, pair, or straights, the higher the bonus added to your total. Cards can also affect each other and can be rearranged to find the best total score. Ok, c'est du poker, quoi. Par exemple, si je mets ça, 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 ça et ça, j'ai gagné. Win. Your skills increase when you work or go to school. With extra skills if you win the challenge, and a kudos bonus if you make the highest scoring hand with your cards. Working also increases stress, which prevents you from working if it reaches 100. To relieve stress, take a month off to relax in the quarter's wing. Your parents have been working from the first dawn to well after dinner every day. You know growing food is an important job and it's vital to get crops in the ground right away, but there seems to be something more than that. It's such a change from growing up on the stratospheric when you saw them all the time. You stay up and wait for them at night before going to bed. Though you can tell they're exhausted, they make an effort to spend time with you. I'm sorry we haven't seen much of you, little gooseberry, your dad says. Your mum watches you as she works a pebble out of her gardening tiller, which also serves as a crutch. How have you been holding up? I learned some stuff in school. I'm glad to hear that, your mom says. I want you to study hard, work hard, and stay out of trouble. Your dad smiles, and Professor Hal will give you kudos if you get good grades. You can spend those at the depot once it's open. You know, says your dad, raising an eyebrow at your mom, I think there are lots of different ways to learn, and school is just one of them. You can learn from working on a hobby, or by helping a friend. Your mom shakes her head and sighs, though you can tell she's trying to put on a gentle expression. We both agree that this colony is an experiment, and that means we're going to do things differently than on Earth. You're old enough now to start making your own decisions about your education and future. And if that means you find your own way, we'll accept that. Your dad puts a hand on your shoulder. We'll be proud of you no matter what you do. Try talking to your friends. They may have ideas for you for how you can spend your time. And come by geoponics, your mom adds. We could use some help. Early quiet. Mid quiet. Quiet season age 10. Je sais pas ce que ça veut dire ça. On va bientôt s'arrêter, hein. Anemone is bumping a sports ball with her wrist, trying to keep it in the air. Heads up, she shouts, and bumps the ball in your direction. Think fast. You catch the ball with your wrist, bop it up, and headbutt it back to Anemone. She grins her huge gap-toothed smile. Whoa, nice move, Solane. You bounce the ball back and forth with her, trying to see how many times you can rally and keep it going. Anemone tells you about the new sports ball court, a proper regulation-sized court, way bigger than the little 0G1 on the stratospheric. Her brother Com is coaching the junior sports ball team this year. He's so great, she says. He's good at everything, especially spiking. He's coaching me to play awesome like him. You should come join us. On va s'arrêter pas tard quand même, hein. Lui il veut plus nous parler. Non, il veut plus nous parler. Ça c'est maman. You find your mom hard at work setting up the greenhouses with a small construction crew. You've seen these plants pinned to the wall of your family's quarters for years now. These geodesic domes will house the more delicate plants from Earth. Spinach, tomatoes, maybe even fruit. She takes a swig from her canteen as you approach. Looking for something to do, she asks, Remember, Solane, you're responsible for your own schedule now that we've landed. You can decide how to spend your time, so long as it's productive. She points towards the engineering wing in the back half of the stratospheric severed frame. Professor Hal's still expecting you in class, but a well-rounded education includes practical application. You're old enough to help with the work around here. She claps her hand on your shoulder. I've got another minute. Anything you need to know? No. No, I'm good. And Dad? Hello, my little potato, your dad exclaims, smiling warmly. What have you been up today? Playing in the fresh air. He breathes deeply and looks slowly around. Vatumna is magnificent, isn't it? You nod. Seasons, he shouts, throwing his hands wide. I missed seasons. Back on Earth, it got much, much colder, and the snow wasn't half as pretty as our spark snow. He sighs, stretching. You just wait until dust season. Both the suns will be high in the sky and it'll be real hot then, you'll see. Oui, on va s'arrêter là. Elle n'était pas contente tout à l'heure. A sharp whistle interrupts your thoughts. Hey, Selene, Mars calls out to you. Come here, I have a job for you. You walk over to Mars, who's sheltering from the snow under the ship's overhang. It's so gross here, she complains. This spark snow would ruin my good clothes. At least on the ship we had climate control. Ugh. Tammy made me some soy sweets, but there's no way I'm going out here in all this weather, she continues. Since you like running around it, could you fetch them for me? Okay. Good, Mars claps. She's probably just down the hill near our quarters. Mars sighs. She's scared to take more than a few steps from the door. All she wants to do is hide inside and make sweets. Donc c'est elle, hein. Tammy is staring obliviously at the sky, smiling to herself. She startles as you approach. Oh, hello, Selene, she says, putting her head to her chest. Do you need something? I'm here for Mars's soy sweets. Tammy smiles at you. Oh, it's so nice of you to help out Mars. She's a very important person, you know. She hands you a box wrapped in a pink and yellow scarf. One order of mango soy sweets, made fresh this morning, she says. Please tell Mars that she can have the scarf back. Okay? She used some of her kudos to nanoprint it for me because it's so dusty here, but I think I'm getting used to it now. Tammy smiles again and tucks her head behind her big elven ears. Mars is so cool, she says fondly. Sometimes she's kind of bossy, but I know she really cares too. On va s'arrêter là. Ça me hype pas. L'histoire a l'air assez intéressante. C'est juste pas mon style de jeu en réalité, hein. Un peu trop narratif à mon goût. Alors je sais que je suis un peu une relou parce que j'aime quand même les jeux narratifs, mais là il y a beaucoup trop... Ou alors il faudra que ce soit doublé, quoi. Là il y a beaucoup trop de lecture. Si je veux lire quelque chose, je lis un livre en fait, hein. Mais en dehors de ça, en tout cas, le jeu est très joli. Je pense qu'il y a pas mal de gameplay que j'ai pas encore découvert qui va venir avec le temps, ne serait-ce que quand on sera adulte. Donc plutôt intéressant comme jeu, mais pas ma came. J'espère cependant que ça vous a plu, que vous avez découvert un jeu, ou alors peut-être que vous le connaissez déjà, et dans ce cas, dites-moi ce que vous en pensez. Et je vous dis à la prochaine. Salut!